What the fuck is this? Wow. Got to take a big
What?
drag on that digital penis before we go live.
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes.
We're going to get
I
demonetized.
done fogged out this
said
fucking
that.
room.
Because I said that in the first 5 seconds, we're getting demonetized now. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome to BS session number 65. If episodes were years, we'd still have to keep working for a living because we're so damn poor.
Because I have a shotgun and rifle that I use for, and 22 gauge that I use for ptarmigan, moose, and black bear.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, Ballistically Speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
Well, let's start the show right off with some good news from Yuka Kazi. The Canadian dollar is apparently down almost half a cent against the U.S. dollar. Great job, Trudeau.
Excellent. Right on.
You know, when I started my business for probably the first 5, almost 6 years of my business, the Canadian dollar was either close to parity with the U.S. dollar or was at parity with the U.S. dollar.
And then,
then
what happened, Chris?
We had an election in 2015.
We sure did.
So that was pre-Trudeau.
It was during Harper that we reached parity. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, all the exporters complained about that. The importers in the country don't matter. It's only the exporters.
Yeah, it's the same way here.
Yeah. Well, at least you're in U.S. dollars. That's the thing. If I want to import from the United States, I'm dealing with U.S. dollars. Okay, cool, makes sense. If I want to deal with Pakistan, I'm dealing in U.S. dollars. If I go with China, U.S. dollars. Japan, U.S. dollars. It's all U.S. dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody keeps talking about how China is going to take over as the reserve currency in the world, and I'm like, well, then why is every Chinese business still dealing in U.S. dollars?
Those damn Chinese men.
That's still a PC term.
Well, didn't China
you
say
said
that?
Until I said it.
Didn't China say was it China or Japan at the end of World War II when they said that they would cripple the world's economy without firing a single shot? Who was that? Was that China or was that Japan?
That had to have been Japan because China was still shut down. Like if they had their what the hell was the policy called? It was basically their insular policies where they weren't open to the rest of the world until the 1960s.
Gotcha.
Firing a
I didn't
shot.
know.
I'm just looking it up here. Oh yeah, it was Russia. It's a quote from Nikita Khrushchev.
Oh. Well, hell, they can't fight their way out of a fucking mountain range in Ukraine with people with AK.
Yeah, but that's not Khrushchev's Russia.
No, that's Putin's Russia.
That's Putin's Russia. Putin was just a towel boy when Khrushchev was running things. Are all these men Nazis, Walter? No, Danny, they're nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of. Where did that come from?
I don't know, but it sounds good.
Yuke is also giving me shit because I'm using incorrect nomenclature and referring to China people.
I corrected him for us.
Well, for the record, I didn't actually mean to say Chinaman. I meant to say China businessmen. It just came out Chinaman, and then I corrected myself.
It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Oh, it's from I've never seen The Big Lebowski. Yuke says it's a quote from The Big Lebowski. I've still never seen that.
I've never seen it.
I've only seen clips.
I'd like to see it
I don't
someday.
The dude.
I don't watch that TV.
All I know is you got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Well, when in doubt, dude it out.
Not to be confused with I'm the dude who's playing the dude who's dressed like another dude.
Disguised as another dude.
Disguised as another dude.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about that the other day at work, that movie. And could you imagine if Tropic Thunder came out in today's era?
I would love to see it.
Yeah, but it didn't come out.
Just
What year
watch
did?
people's heads explode.
What
Oh,
year
It's
eight?
not
was
that
Tropic
old,
Thunder?
really.
Yeah, it's not that.
Oh,
old.
08?
Yeah, that's only
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's only like 15
15 years? Yeah, but how
Yeah.
much has changed in those 15 years?
A lot has changed. Yeah, but a lot has changed just in the last 8 years. It's really been the last 8
Yeah.
years. And not even that, because Trump was elected in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, but still, like, everybody gets offended by everything and all that shit now.
Yeah, I think, you know, a real turning point was 2020.
I do too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was a
Anyway.
big turning point, and COVID was too, I think.
Well, that's what I mean when I say 2020. I think that it kicked it all off, right? It kicked off everything. Without COVID, we might not have had the gun ban. Without COVID, well, no, Floyd happened after what year was or what
Middle.
month? It was like May or June, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Maybe that stuff would have happened anyways. Maybe it wouldn't have. If we weren't.
Does it ever make you wonder? So,
About what?
The conspiracy theorist in myself, everybody loves a good conspiracy theory, right? Do you think the government plotted all that shit?
Which shit?
The pandemic, the
No, I don't think
riots,
they did.
the protests, and all that shit.
They just took advantage of it, I think.
Yeah, I this is the thing. I think that the one thing that actual conspiracy theories tend to get wrong is they ignore Hanlon's razor. If you're familiar with Hanlon's razor, which essentially states, do not attribute to malice what can easily be explained through incompetence. So I don't think that these people have the foresight or the ability to plan most of these things. I think what they do have is the ability to take advantage of them. There's a famous book called The Shock Doctrine, and the shock doctrine is really just a way of academizing, if that's a word, the concept of never let a good crisis go to waste.
Well, they've all said that since the beginning of time. That's one of Hillary Clinton's favorite fucking lines.
Right. And there's been variations of it, you know, ever since. But I mean, look at the reaction to things at the beginning of the pandemic. I think that's a good indicator that they didn't plan this. This took them by surprise. And it even took them several weeks, if not months, to realize how they could capitalize on it. I mean, in Canada, our chief medical health officer, Theresa Tam, in March of 2020, at the beginning of March, was on the news saying, no, I don't think we need to wear masks. That's not going to help anything. There's no evidence that they're going to help anything whatsoever. And then it was literally 3 weeks later, they're like, no, actually, we should all be wearing masks. And then, you know, a couple of weeks after that, it was, no, we're going to mandate that you wear masks. And, you know, that continued for how long? But it took
2
them 3
years
weeks to catch up to that narrative. If they were, you know, driving the ship from the beginning, you know, they're not playing catch up like that.
Who'd have thought that one person eating bat could change the entire format of the world?
Who would have thought what?
One man eating some undercooked bat could change the entire format of the world.
You know, I know that this has been confirmed and reconfirmed and unconfirmed and reconfirmed about a dozen times since 2020, but I believe that the last theory and the current running theory is that it was accidentally released from the lab in Wuhan.
In a bat.
No, it had nothing to do with a bat. That was a black leathery winged herring.
Oh.
But like I say, they've gone back and forth at least a half a dozen times between bat and lab.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they'll keep going back and forth because they don't want you to truly know how it started.
Well, and that's exactly right. You know, misinformation is a great way to, you know, I don't want to use
comment
the
right
conspiracy
here.
theory terms. Yeah, I was going to get to that too.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the conspiracy theory terms and say, like, you know, control a docile population. But I mean, creating confusion is a great way to control narrative.
Oh, absolutely.
We can put it that way. Okay, let's get to that comment because it's an interesting one. Klaus Schwab. Everybody knows who that is? By the way, it's Saturday night. We would never do this on a Friday. Like we don't go this far off tangent right off the bat on a Friday. But I'm just
because the Americans are here.
Yeah, it's Saturday night. Fuck it. Let's dive into the deep end. Balls first. Okay. Klaus Schwab, who is the head of the World Economic Foundation, he's apparently announced that there will be a cyber attack in 2024. But you know what? This to me, like Klaus Schwab, people give him way too much credit. He's not smart. He's not as influential as people are afraid that he is. He gets way too much. Like every time we talk about him, like he's some sort of evil genius, we're giving him too much credit, and listen, we further the mythos.
It's the same as so many other things like this. He's just more than likely just a goddamn figurehead, and there's a bunch of fucking fingers on strings out in behind a curtain somewhere.
Well, that's always been that way, that's like, narrative 101 of a conspiracy theory, but you word it differently and everybody's like, oh yeah, no, I've known that since the beginning of time. It's always been that way. The elite and the rich have always run the countries, the world, the whatever. But
I mean, you got the faces of the faceless and shit like that really pull all the strings. I mean, I love a good conspiracy theory. So,
and Alex Jones is gonna tear it all down.
Fucking Alex Jones. Oh shit!
Didn't he come out with a video game now?
Did he?
Yeah,
really?
He's got a video game. He got kicked off of Twitter again.
Wow.
Or X, whatever you want to call it.
If you're getting kicked off of X, the like. When Elon Musk is basically telling Bob Iger, fuck you, I don't want you to advertise on my platform.
That was glorious.
Yeah. If he's willing to go that far with Bob Iger in the audience, basically telling him to go fuck himself, how bad do you have to be to get kicked off of X these days?
Yeah, right.
But apparently he's on Rumble. I don't know if you guys are on Rumble, but apparently Rumble is shadow banning all sorts of shit. Like Rumble shadow banned you and all this, like how bad. Rumble is supposed to be the free speech network, quote, I use that very loosely, because this is supposed to be a free speech network too. But
that's the thing, Bending. Nothing is ever free. Am I freezing?
Yes.
I'm not. I am. Yeah. Okay. This is the thing, though. Nothing is ever free forever.
No.
This is a dance that's been done over and over again, also since the beginning of time. You had your Wild West frontier, and it was settled by your independent, introverted free thinkers, and then then the people came out to join them, so they had to go further west, and then people came out to join them, and the last of the last frontier was the gold rush in the Klondike, and you had all the Americans coming up from California because there was no further west. This is just how human nature works.
I mean, you're right, 100%. I don't argue that. It's like when people say, well, I got this for free. Nothing is ever free. Like nothing.
Oh, we have free healthcare.
No, of course not.
No, you don't. You pay the tax for it. You pay your taxes are what, 33% of your paycheck or some shit like that?
He's being very sarcastic.
Bending.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, the average is supposed to be 30.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, because y'all are what, one of the highest tax countries in the world?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of European.
Well, okay, depends on how you look at it.
We do.
Yeah.
Guys, give me just a moment here. I'm going to go on mute here because I think someone's sucking up my bandwidth. I'll be right back.
What the hell? Yeah. Anyway.
Fucking Gen Xers can't get their damn internet to work right.
Could be. Who knows? So what do you got spooled up lately here, Bending?
I've been playing a lot with that new Grendel I just built.
So how many Grendels do you have currently?
3 and 1 in the works. So I'll have 4 by the time it's all said and done.
So why did you latch so hard onto 6.5 Grendel? And we can get into details about the cartridge in a bit. I suppose we should. Like I was saying to you earlier before we hit the live button, 6.5 Grendel's actually been around for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't really hit the semi-spec market till 2008. Felix Alexander from Britain, the guy that owns Alexander Arms, that's made your 458 SOCOM, 450 Bushmaster, and your he's made a bunch. But Beowulf, Grendel, and Bush and 458 are gonna be the biggest ones that people are gonna know. When he made that, he initially started development on it back in the 80s and played with it, and it was initially called the 6.5 by 38 millimeter Grendel, which is just a mouthful. And he did it all solely to take the populous amounts of 7.62 by 39 ammo that was readily available and make it more efficient, more or less. But everybody wants to say that the Grendel is the baby brother to 6.5 by 55 Swede, and really it's more of the intermediate brother.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Actually,
that's an odd thing to say in my mind, but
well, it's actually more along the lines of the kind of older twin by like a minute of the 243, to be honest with you. In a small, light package. I mean, you're talking one of my 6.5 Grendels that's in bolt action weighs less than 5 pounds. Super anemic recoil. You're talking 20 pounds of recoil on your shoulder. Your 5.56 is, 19 pounds of felt recoil on your shoulder? So for a little bit more, I think so. You'll have to look that one up.
20 pounds of recoil, though, is that with a 123? 123 grain bullet? Okay.
Yeah, and I've got some ballistics written down here of it. So with 123 SST from Hornady, with a 530 BC, at 100 yards, your muzzle velocity is going to be roughly 2,500 for Grendel 1, which is what your gas rifle is going to be in.
I was going to say gas or bolt, yeah.
Gas. So your Grendel 2, you can get away with a little bit higher pressure. But you're talking at 100 yards, your muzzle velocity is 1568 with no drop, obviously, because you're zeroed at 100. But at 200 yards, you're dropping 3 inches already. With the muzzle velocity or projectile velocity of 1367. And then, I'm sorry, this is 129 grain. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
300 yards, you're going to be at 1187 with 7-inch drop. And then at 400 yards, you're going to be at 1027 with 25 inches of drop. So really, the Grendel's effective out to about 400 yards if you're going to use it for hunting. It is very capable of going well past that because it doesn't hit that transonic stage until 1,200 yards. So it stays together all the way out there.
Well, that's interesting because if it's shedding that much velocity that quickly, like what did you say it had for velocity at what did you say, the 300 or 400 you said last? Was it just above 1,000?
400, 1,027, yeah. This is with 130 grain, more or less.
Okay, so then
with the BC of 530.
So then define transonic for me.
Transonics when it reaches that threshold below.
No, I know what it is.
The sound barrier.
But what velocity is that?
Generally, they say it's 1,000 feet per second, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. It depends what elevation you're at. But it's like generally up here, we kind of use somewhere around 1,200 feet per second.
Yeah, but see, what's weird is the 243. I'm trying to find that note. of it. So I've got a note of the 243. Got a note on the 243. Okay, so the 243. Here's what's going to really mess with your head a little bit. 243 with a .490 BC, leaving the muzzle at roughly 3,000 feet per second. Factory ammo is what we're talking. We're not talking hand loads. Only factory loads. At 100 yards,
Is
you're
that
at
like a 105 or
1661.
something?
95 grainer.
95. Okay.
At 100 yards, you're at 1661 feet per second. So you're still talking.
No. You
Yeah.
need to check your charts, because starting out at 300 yards or 3,000 feet per second muzzle velocity at 100 yards, you're down at what?
That's what Hornaday is saying. Like, this is literally off Hornaday's website.
How do you lose
I don't argue
1,500? How do you, yeah?
But the same
would
argument
question
can.
with them. How do you lose 1,500 feet per second in 100 yards?
No.
I know that's what's kind of got me a little jacked up too, because then from 100 to 200 yards, you're only losing 200 feet per second.
Yeah, well,
that's
so it's got to be more like
has to be
26.
This is off of Hornady's charts.
Yeah.
No, Bending, I know you know that's wrong. It's
I know, but this is what Hornaday has posted.
Yeah.
So maybe it's 2691
here.
It's got to be 26. Well, even that's quite a bit for 100 meters, isn't it?
It is. It is. I would say that you're probably shedding a couple hundred feet per second max at 100.
So maybe it's a typo on Hornaday's end.
Bullet has a parachute. Bullet has a parachute.
Well, I mean, it's dead weight falling.
One of those drag race parachutes. Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's it. It doesn't stabilize, so it's tumbling for the first 100 meters.
I mean, it didn't make sense to me when I read it.
No.
Okay, uno momento, por favor. So I'm looking at this is Hornady.com. Okay. Now I have no idea. This is the specs for their 123 grain ELDM.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so 123 grain bullet, they're saying at the muzzle in a 24-inch barrel, 2,580 at the muzzle, 2,410 at 100 yards, which would make more sense.
It does, yeah.
Why am I just reading this to you? Why don't I just here? Hang on a sec. Oopty doop.
Unless I miswrote, which is very possible.
Well, it's not like the internet never has typos either. So muzzle 2580, 100 yards 2410, 200 yards 2247, 300 yards 2090, 400 yards 1940, 500 yards 1796. So I mean, at 500 yards, you're still not. What do they say? You want 1,100 feet per second for deer? Is that what they say?
Yeah.
So really, you're looking at 300.
Sorry, the kinetic energy, like they're generally about 600 foot-pounds, I guess, is what is generally put out there, isn't it?
For deer, I thought it was 1,100. It was 600?
No, okay, but you're talking feet per second, and that's kind of useless because you can.
No. I'm talking foot-pounds. I thought it was 1,100 foot-pounds.
Oh no!
No.
I say elk is 1,000. 600, I believe, for deer.
Okay. I don't deer hunt, so I can't answer that.
So then, based on those specs, you're still good for deer out to 500 yards and elk at 400 yards.
Yeah,
that's with the 123.
So maybe I just misread on. I might have just misread. Yeah. It's very possible.
Well, like I said, it wouldn't be the first time that there was a typo on the internet. I'm trying to find. Do they make a
129? Not in 6.5 Grendel, no.
Yeah, so I see the ELDVT in 100 grain.
Yeah. That thing's screaming. Maybe their super performance is a 95 grain.
I don't like how their website's set up.
Neither do I. It's a pain in the ass.
The website is stupid.
So just for reference, I'm gonna read you my 6.5 by 47 table or bits out of it.
Do you want to
With
share
a
your screen?
130. No, I got it on my phone here.
Okay.
But with a 130 burger hybrid, I'm running 2810 for at the muzzle.
Mhm.
At 100 meters is 2638. So that's like
200.
160 feet per second sort of thing.
Yeah.
Roughly, and it'll get down to just below that 1200 feet per second. What we sort of generally use around this elevation here of 1200 for start a transonic. It shows at 1150 meters. It's cooking along at 1179 feet per second. According to the environmentals that I currently have here right now. So your Grendel with a did you say 123 or 129? It's a little bit.
123 is very comparable. The 123 Grendel is almost identical BC and drops as the 243 and the 95 grainer. Which, granted, if you put a 75 grainer
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Are you talking that 95 grain 243 bullet at 3,000 feet per second and the 123 Grendel at, what did you say, 25 something?
25, the drops are identical.
Horseshit.
I'm telling you, look it up.
Horse
I'm
shit.
being for real. I mean, especially when you start talking like Creedmoor and shit like that, because the Creedmoor has 500 feet more pounds of energy or foot-pounds of energy to it than what the Grendel does. And it's only a 17 grain more projectile.
I want
and I don't
you to
understand.
box up some of that pixie dust that you have and ship it up to Canada, eh?
I will. Up to Saskatchewan. Oh, speaking of Saskatchewan,
Everything.
I got a weird question.
Okay, weird question.
Okay.
Go for it.
Shocking.
Completely off tangent. Is y'all's housing market going crazy there?
No, it's not y'all's. It's you all. Oh,
It's
that
y'all.
wasn't the question? Oh, sorry.
Oh, the Queen would be rolling in her grave right now.
Yeah, that's not the Queen's proper Canadian English. No, we're having a bit of a housing shortage at the moment, but it's a combination of things. It's a combination of it's very onerous to build for the builders. It's expensive because prices of materials are still high. Nobody wants to work for under $87 an hour anymore, so there's a bit of a labor crisis going on, and all the world is schlock.
Okay.
That's the long and the short of it. Yeah.
There's another factor too, but I don't know if we want to get into it here.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't be a factor for long though.
Oh, Trudeau.
Yeah. I'm worried that he's.
That's your best friend
for the next 2 years.
That's y'all's best friend.
He's my best friend to punch in the mouth.
Hell, he's gonna ban fucking knives from you guys now because somebody tried blowing up the U.S. border.
Yeah. No. You and I were talking about when that happened, and there was so much confusion. I was like, yeah, they were saying that they were coming from the U.S. into Canada. And you're like, no, they said they were coming from Canada into the U.S. You know why we were so confused about that? Because different fucking news agencies were reporting completely different things for like 3 days.
Yeah. And I don't think they still settled on where it's truly coming from.
Ridiculous. Like, send a fucking reporter out there. You can tell which way they were going by what direction the goddamn car is facing.
Yeah, but
I don't know that there was much left of the car, dude.
It still has a front.
Yeah.
It kind of did.
He launched that.
How about this?
Yeah, he launched that mofo.
Follow the fucking debris trail.
So where did he truly come from? Canada side or United States side?
No idea. No
See, they
idea.
still can't give us a straight answer on that.
Dude, different news agencies were reporting they were Canadians, that they were Americans, they were traveling this way, they were traveling that way, that it was a targeted attack, that it was accidental, that it was a man and a woman that burned to death in the car, that it was two men that burned to death in the car, that it was a husband and wife that burned to death in the car. Like it's
It was Klaus Schwab's cousin.
yeah.
And everybody keeps saying it looks like a Tesla, but that doesn't look like a Tesla to me. What that looks like to me is a
300
Nissan
Chrysler,
Altima.
wasn't it?
It looked like a Nissan Altima.
I heard it was a Toyota Tacoma.
And that they yelled, "This is Sparta,"
as they were in the
launched
middle of the
car.
air. They rolled the window down mid-roll, mid-flip, yelled, "This is Sparta."
And they were
I
playing
believe it.
Presidents of the United States of America lump on the stereo as they went.
Anyways, I digress.
We all do.
But yeah.
So 6'5" Grendel. I'm having trouble with mine.
Are you? Why?
I am. Well, so
Gas?
as luck would have it, there are only 3 aftermarket parts in that rifle: the barrel, the magazines, and the bolt. And all 3 are from different companies, different manufacturers. Everything else is all factory up, factory built. And I've had problems that can be traced to only 3 parts. The first part is the barrel, the second part is the bolt, and the third part is the magazine. And I don't know exactly which of the 3 is the culprit, or if they are working in concert with each other to create the problem. And there were multiple problems. I think we may have solved more or less one of them, but we're still having a tremendous problem with feeding. The bullets are nosediving. Sorry, the bullets, the bullets on the cartridge are nosediving into the feed ramps and getting stuck up on there just like lickety split. Now,
is this what your follower looks like?
Yeah, almost exactly. What brand
Is it the Duramax?
It is
Duramax?
Yeah, it's Duramax, yeah.
You're having problems with it?
That's the exact magazine I have. Yeah, 5.5? 5-rounder?
No, 10.
Well, I can't have a 10-rounder up in Canada, so mine's a 5-rounder.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same size.
But yeah, it should be the same mag.
Yeah.
And they're nosediving?
The bullets are nosediving right into the feed ramps. I've got I've got part 1 and 2 already up on YouTube. Part 3 is up on YouTube, but I have it unlisted right now. And I've been leaving it unlisted because I've contacted Faxon, who's making the barrel, and I contacted True North Arms, who's making the bolt, and I'm kind of explaining my problems to them, and I'm just like, hey, I'm kind of holding off on publishing part 3 here until I can get your guys' ideas on what might be going on. TNA has contacted me back, and they've said that their opinion, because I was asking them about extraction, because that claw seems to let go sometimes, and sometimes it seems like it's smashing into the back of the rim, causing a little dent on the back of the rim, then folding around the rim and grabbing. So I asked them about that, and their opinion on that is that my problem is my gas block, and I don't think
that's what I've said from the beginning.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. Not that it's under-gassed, but that the gas port in my gas block is not large enough. And yeah, that's what they're saying.
What size gas port are you running? A 750?
750, yeah. Yeah. And
I'm running 936.
930 what?
936?
Why?
For gas.
You need to with the Grendel?
I do with the H2 buffer. One of my Grendels.
I don't have a buffer.
Oh, can you? So you're direct blowback,
No.
more or less.
It's short stroke piston.
Piston, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pink one that you saw that I did for my aunt, the cancer one,
Yeah.
that has a H3 buffer in it. That's the only way I could get it to run. The black and brown one that you saw, the Flat Dark Earth,
Yeah.
it's got a H1 in it, and it runs wide the fuck open with a 936 gas block in it.
Now those are both direct impingement.
Mhm.
Now typically you
I
need
don't-
more gas for a piston gun, don't you?
Yeah, you should. That's why I'm saying I would look into. Are you sure you're? I know this is gonna sound really stupid, and I don't mean to sound this way. Did you Is your bolt or your gas block lined up truly with your gas key?
Yes.
100%. You've Morse scoped it?
I didn't even do it. An armorer did it for me. An armorer.
Well, I can tell you, like, that's what it sounds like to me. Is your gas key's not lined up, and you're not getting enough gas?
I'll fully admit that in that answer, I am trusting and not verifying, but I do trust the guy that.
Because armorers do make mistakes. We're all human.
Of course, yeah, but not on my things.
I think it's a gas issue.
Well,
Can you adjust the weight on your short stroke?
And I've opened it. I can't adjust the weight on the piston, but I've adjusted the gas. It has an adjustable gas block on it, and I've got it wide open, and it has improved the extraction, but not eliminated the extraction problems.
Have you taken your bolt? This can be another weird question I'm going to ask you. Have you taken your bolt apart? Make sure your gas keys inside the bolt are timed correctly, and they're not in a straight line, and they're actually gapped how they're supposed to be. That's been a problem with Grendel bolts that I've noticed in the past with mine. Is the gas keys inside there?
But here's another thing. This isn't an AR-15 bolt.
Yeah, but it's still going to have gas keys in the bolt face.
Yeah, no, why am I? Hold on here. Un momento, por favor.
Or it should have gas keys in your bolt because it's direct blowback. Or not direct blowback, but it's got a gas tube that runs down through it.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
That's a.
You don't have a gas tube?
Talking about.
No, this is
a piston.
The bolt design on these rifles is completely different.
So it's more of an AK system.
You could call it that, actually. I think, not being an expert on the AK, I think that would be an accurate assessment.
You know who you might want to ask, and he'll respond to you.
The guys who made the bolt?
No, Brandon.
Who?
Brandon Herrera. Send him an email.
He won't.
I'm serious.
He'll be like, "Look,
yes, he will.
Move to Texas or fuck off."
He responds to me. He's running for Congress right now. He'll respond.
I can't vote for him.
I know you can't, but But I'm serious. He's helped me with some gas stuff.
I don't want to get up, and I don't have anything in my immediate possession that I can punch this takedown pin out without marring it.
Sorry, are your takedown pins not like they are in an AR?
Well, I mean, yes and no. There's this rear one especially is sticky as fuck. I'm looking for. You know what? I'm gonna pull
Does
it.
Just get turned into a takedown video.
Well, no, I'm hoping that we can talk while we do this off.
If we're gonna take it down, I'll take mine down.
Go with Oscar's question. Well, there's no point in taking yours down because there's no question about what your bolt looks like.
So how are you guys defining your gas block sizes? You're not talking about port diameter especially when you say 936, are you? You can't be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your
my port diameter is a
936 thou.
Mhm.
What?
0.936 though.
936 thou.
That's like
It's almost an
that's
inch.
an inch. Yeah. Well, mine is
Oh,
that-
3/4.
Okay, that's not your.
It's not an
That's not
inch
your
though.
inlet size, though.
I don't think it's in
No.
inches. It can't be
It's in millimeters
millimeters. That makes sense. Yeah. Why is this thing stuck today all of a sudden?
because it's Canada. So your boat does not look like this.
No, that's my
No,
carrier,
not even
not my
close.
bolt. And it doesn't look anything like that. It's a 180 style. You know
Like
how
the
they
BRN
ship
180.
those? Well, not like the BRN 180, but so here, look. There's my guide rods and springs. I don't have a buffer.
So you have like straight AK style. That's
Well,
literally
no,
an AK.
No, it's 180.
Like
It's AR 180.
that's that. Isn't that what Brownells is doing?
Word that are coming out of my mouth?
I know, but what I'm asking you is that what Brownells is doing?
Well, Brownells is doing something different because there's mates with an AR-15 lower. This doesn't.
No, it's a proprietary lower.
I thought that no, because that's why we can't import it into Canada because it fits on an AR.
Yeah, but they've redesigned it and it's a proprietary lower now. It's like
I was
called the
unaware of that.
BRN 180.
So here's
Called the
our
BRN
bolt.
180.
Here's our bolt carrier.
Yeah, that's almost identical to a AK. Literally, I don't have an AK to take apart. I would take an AK apart.
You can compare it to an AK if you want. I've heard the 180 design compared to an AK before. I've never taken an AK apart. They've been banned since before I was into guns.
Here, we've got some.
Think
some
SIG
reason
MCX. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So there's my
Thank
firing
you,
pin.
Mike. Good Lord.
There's my firing pin.
It's just about to commit Harry Carey there for a second.
So here's my bolt.
Mhm.
There, I'll max my screen here just in case all the people.
You guys are
yelling at me.
comparing bolts. That's so cute.
Yeah, we are cute. Look, I can look through the middle of it.
I can see your eyeball.
Yeah. Fuck. Is it focusing on it at least?
Yeah.
But you can see it's
It no
very
longer looks
different.
like a glory hole looking through your eyeball.
It's similar enough to the AR-15 bolt, but it is
Mhm.
also very dissimilar from the AR-15 bolt. There's no gas rings on it or anything.
Okay, so then how do you get an AR-15 barrel to mate up to it?
Well,
That's what
because
I don't
bolt-
understand.
The bolt face is the same. The bolt face.
Yeah,
and
but
the
I didn't
lugs on
think
the
you
bolt are
could.
the same.
I didn't think that you could have anything that would mate up to an AR-15 in Canada. That's
It's
what
just a
I'm
different
confused
design.
about.
Receiver,
The
that's
barrel,
all.
yeah, the barrel is not classified as the firearm.
Correct.
So that's how
But-
we have it, is because the barrel is not classified as the firearm.
So, can you have a barrel shipped straight to you from the United States?
I can, but that's a pretty dumb and expensive way to do it.
Why? What's an easier way to do it?
Well, wait till someone's already imported it and buy it from them.
Oh,
Keep in mind, the barrel I have is a Faxon. That's an American made
yes.
barrel.
I thought you ordered it from them.
Oh no. No, I bought it from the
Oh.
I bought mine from the Red Deer Shooting Center. That's Red Deer, as in Red Deer, Alberta.
Oh. See, I thought that you ordered it straight from them, or they sent it for you for TNE.
Oh no.
So
No.
that's my misunderstanding.
Yeah, no, I didn't request anything from Faxon.
Okay.
I should have. I didn't. Now, here's the thing. I've emailed Faxon. In fact, I phoned Faxon and they were like, yeah, no, send us an email to the support group, and like support email. I'm like, okay, do I need to like call anyone specific or or sorry, put anyone specific? Oh, there's only 2 of us here in this department, so we'll pick it up right away. I emailed them before I emailed True North Arms. Faxon still hasn't returned my email. True North Arms has.
The best way to get a hold of Faxon is, the little pop-up guy at the bottom for how can I help you?
Yeah.
That is literally the easiest way to get a hold of Faxon.
Well, but they like I did talk to them on the phone, and they're like, it's easier for us if you send us an email with your problem.
Yeah, because they'll ignore it.
Well, exactly. But I mean, they ignored it when I was talking to them directly over the phone too, and just told me to go do something else so they could ignore me more effectively.
Can you adjust the spring tension in your receiver or your bolt?
That's a negatory.
No.
That might be some. Can the manufacturer adjust the spring tension?
Well, we could put different springs in it for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Make it stiffer where you can't adjust a buffer weight. Put a stiffer spring in there to maybe not so much slow it down, but kind of slow it down some.
Well, yeah, but now you're talking opposite effects.
Yeah, because if my gas block is already not allowing enough kick into the bolt carrier,
or loosen them,
adding spring tension will make it worse. I might not even cycle fully.
Well, my Palmetto, the pink one, the Palmetto upper,
yeah,
it's 6.5 Grendel. What I had to do is I had to open my gas block all the way up, but then the bolt was cycling too fast. And if I adjusted the gas down, I didn't have enough gas. So what I ended up having to do was tune it with
You're thinking it might be cycling with too much force, and it may be that's what maybe why the claw is losing its grip.
That's what my problem was with my breast cancer one, is it was cycling way too fast, way too hard. And that's a 7-pound rifle, and I'm 200 pounds, and that thing would damn near flip out of my hands as fast as it was cycling. And what it would do, this is the weirdest shit that made no sense to me. I could run an entire mag through it. On the 10th round, it would go to eject it, and when it would come back for the bolt catch on the mag, it would kind of halfway jump forward because it had so much force springing forward from the speed. But it would run like a scalded animal until I got to that 10th round. Put a 28 round mag in it, wouldn't run worth fuck. Don't ask me why that is, because I can't tell you.
It's an interesting thought. I'm pretty sure I could go to a shop and get the heavier springs.
It would be worth an experiment to see if slowing down because recoil is relative to the person. I don't like a lot of recoil anyways, and I don't know if a lot of recoil bothers you.
Dude, I'm shooting 200 grain 308s out of a rifle that weighs like 8 ounces, so I don't care.
So the recoil is relative to you. I don't like it. Yeah. Why I went on my rifles to run soft.
I'm a big, strong man. I don't really, recoil doesn't bother me that much.
I mean, I'm 200 pounds. So
245.
Well, whoop-de-doo if we're gonna. Never mind. My feet are bigger.
Your beard's bigger.
You guys gonna compare bolts again?
Yeah. Rooster feels left out.
Well, this is the thing, we've thrown so many variables into this, and I don't know if some of my parts are unreliable or if what I'm experiencing is just differences for like, there's no question that this rifle was designed with 5.56 in mind and nothing else.
Like now, if you that's
for sure.
Does it run wide open with a 5.56 barrel? If you put the 5.56 bolt face in it?
No, actually, I've got a complete. I've got 2 complete uppers, so I've got a complete 5.56 barrel in it right now. And it's 2 to 3 while, but whatever.
Same
And
difference.
I have the gas at about half, and it runs perfectly. Half, maybe 2/3, I guess.
To perfect. So it's reliable, but still causes issues of being unreliable.
No, I don't have any problems with 5.56.
Same barrel manufacturer.
No, the barrel on mine, I believe it's an IBI blank, but
So
it's the factory barrel that comes with it.
about during the middle of COVID and up to a year ago, and this isn't dogging Faxon by any stretch of imagination, so don't take this. Faxon was actually sending undersized gas port holes in multiple AR-15 calibers. Their ARC was the same way. Their
Really?
Grendel was the same way. There was a huge thing on there. We got it at the shop because we're a Faxon dealer, and we were told if any of this happens, just contact us and send us the barrel back. So I
No
would
way.
measure. Yeah, it was a release to FFLs and Faxon dealers.
Holy
Sotar
shit.
did a huge thing on it.
Hold the gosh dang phone.
Oh, did you find the article?
No, but what I am seeing, Grendel used BA16 Grendel barrel. Upon measuring, I found the gas port to be smaller than 0.070.
Correct. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, then the question is, so when did this occur? This is 2020. This post was. So
So
it's entirely possible that barrel
that
has
you
been
gotta.
sitting at Red Deer Shooting Center since 2020 or earlier.
Do you have tight enough calipers that, or accurate enough calipers? Let me rephrase this: that you could measure that. Because I don't
I
know. I know Rooster reloads, but I don't know if you do.
I don't, but well, actually, hang on a sec here. So okay. I've saved the gas port sizes that have been posted on the forum previously. I have a faction group by 16-inch mid-length gas barrel. I like the way it's gas through carbon. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I think these are the supposed official 6.5 Grendel gas port sizes from Faxon. They're 12-inch
Mhm.
barrel 0.068. They're 16-inch barrel 0.0625. They're 16-inch sorry, the 16-inch carbine gunner is 0.065. The 16-inch GB, which why are they saying GB? I thought it was called a big gunner, not a gunner big. Anyway, 0.078. The 18-inch GB 0.076, and the 20-inch, which is what mine is supposed to be 0.0935.
Which would be
Now,
correct for the Grendel.
so let's assume for a moment that mine is 0.0935. The gas port in my gas block is 0.750.
No, that's the diameter of your gas port
That's what
or
it
your
says. Yeah.
gas block. No, no, you're thinking about that wrong.
Why?
The 0.750 when you buy a gas block, that is
Yeah.
the inner diameter of it.
Okay.
It
That's all
slides
that
on the
means.
barrel.
Yes, that's all that means. Like the 0.960, the 0.85, what is it? 8.853 and 0.750 and 0.615 is all the outer diameter of the barrel. If you measured your barrel, it would measure out to like 0.7498 or 0.751
But look at it this
or
way, Bending. If my barrel is rated at 0.0935 and my gas port is rated at 0.0750,
Mhm.
then my gas port is smaller than my barrel, the gas uh, port in my barrel. No?
or no. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna let me interject here for a second. And I know, Bending, you're gonna argue with me a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the 6.5 Grendel in a gas gun, you're you're quite possibly, let's just say, gonna have some trouble, because I'm telling you,
Yes.
over less than an inch, 950 thou, you
Mhm.
only have 11 thou case taper. So right there, you're up against the wall.
I won't argue.
So that
Anything in
extraction bit,
6.5, anything in a 6 millimeter and a 6.5 millimeter in a gas gun is going to be a pain in your dick. I fought with that breast cancer one to the point where I about wrapped some bitch around a tree because I couldn't tune it right till I finally got it tuned. It made me so fucking mad. That's why I've got a bolt action that I've never shot, because I got so pissed off with the.
Well, what the fuck is
Yes.
going on here then? Because wasn't the 6.5 Grendel specifically made with semi-automatic in mind? So why is it
Yeah,
so
it was.
goddamn hard to make it run?
Because nobody is following the Bill
because there's
Alexander
no free
footprint.
lunch.
So what's the
Because
Bill
if
Alex-
everybody would have,
what's
they
the,
adjusted. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's the Bill Alexander footprint?
Calling it a 6.5 by 38 millimeter.
So the name is gonna make it. I'll call it that right now if it makes it run.
It is a slicker name.
But
I'll
No,
call it
so-
264 Grendel. I'll call it Sweetie. I'll call it whatever the fuck it wants to be called. I don't care.
so here I've got something that might help make it simpler. Okay. So when you're thinking barrel nut, or not barrel nut, gas block.
Yeah,
So,
I'm comparing outside diameter and inside diameter. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But like, I mean, like, is a 0.75 inside diameter the same as a 0.936 outside diameter, or other way around?
No, 0.960 gas blocks are going to be a fatter barrel.
So
Think of it: bull
I'm trying
barrel,
to figure
semi-bull
out-
barrel, and
what I'm
pencil
trying to
barrel.
figure it out here is with a 0.936 barrel and
Gas
a
block.
0.750 gas block, is my gas
It
block
wouldn't work.
restricting the gas?
No, because you can't put
you can't do it.
you can't put a
You know what?
750 gas block on a 1-inch round barrel. You can't take 3/4 inches and shove it through a 1-inch bolt hole and expect it to stay
Sure you
tight.
can.
I thought that was measured
With-
in millimeters.
No,
No, you're
Point-
getting crossed up here.
Am I
He's
getting all
talking
fucked
gas
over?
block, Chris, and that's what slides over that
He's talking about barrel diameter.
boss on the barrel.
Yes.
Right. It's
Barrel diameter.
irrelevant
Hold on.
as far as I can see, because the thing
Hold on.
that needs to operate correctly is the diameter of your gas port. The
I
hole
don't give
in
a
the
shit
barrel
about the
going into
diameter
the
of my
block.
barrel. That's
No,
what I've been talking
it's-
about the whole time. Is the gas
No.
port diameter?
Has
No.
as far as I can see, maybe I'm wrong, but from a logical standpoint, it has
Well,
zero
Mike-
bearing.
Mike says bigger gas block number equals thicker barrel.
That's it.
Okay.
Zero effect
Where
on
it-
gas flow,
Okay.
volume, and pressure.
Ah,
Let me
I
let me
got
up here.
you. I got you. No,
MC's got it right there.
I'm getting what you're saying here now, Bending. When the gas block says 0.750, it's meant to fit on a 3/4 inch barrel diameter.
Yes, right here.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, okay. I thought that
Muy
the
bueno.
0.750 on the gas block was a measure again in millimeters of the gas port size.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nine.
Okay.
Yet.
What you
Well,
need to measure.
shit, man, that's all you had to say.
All right. Here? I don't know if this is going to show up here or not.
Yeah, no, I understand it now. I get it.
Now you've got a little hole right here,
Yeah.
basically where my finger is, where your gas port is.
Yeah.
Measure that, because it's not just Faxon that had that issue. It's a ballistic advantage 308 barrel that we had to warranty out.
Yeah.
That ballistic advantage told me to keep. And when I measured the gas port hole in it, it was like 400,000 small for the 301. Yes, it functioned. yes, it ran reliable, but if you threw a can on it, it fritzed out and didn't know what the fuck it was supposed to be doing. Like hammer follow, it would overgas and it would undergas because it just got. I know that sounds weird to say that the gas porthole got confused, but that's the only way I know how to explain it.
Yeah, no,
Because it's an inanimate object.
My only hiccup was that I thought that we were talking gas port size versus gas port size, and we weren't.
No. So the
I'm not
.09
dumb. I'm just
63.
ignorant.
You're good. The .0936 gas port hole is no matter if you have a 750 gas block, a 936 gas block,
Yeah,
an 850 gas block, or a 615 gas block. The gas port hole on the inside of your gas block is like little less than an inch.
Yeah, I gotcha. We spent all this time on my secondary problem anyway.
Okay, let's go to the primary
part. It's still the cartridge nosediving into the feed ramp.
Which is going to be the spring or your follower?
You think it's the magazine, not the feed ramps on the barrel?
Correct. Guarantee it. Because the reason why I say this.
2 magazines, but both the same magazine.
Yeah, and it still does it.
The same shop visit. What does that mean?
Well, earlier talking about going to the shop to have them look at that barrel or some darn thing. MC's paying attention at least. But this is
Alexander Arms.
I'm not going to the shop. Yeah, but so
Alexander Arms.
Alexander Arms is making the best magazines for the Grendel, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since they are the ones that designed it, what they did is how the Duramag mags, how the follower tapers off on the front instead of, they did theirs where it pops up a little bit and it keeps it sitting how it's supposed to.
Now, here's the only thing. When I was looking it up before, I could find Elander or Duramag in Canada. That's all I could find.
Oh.
So Elander mags are Alexander Arms followers are used in Elander mags.
So I might be able to get away with an Elander then.
Yeah. Duramag mags are great for what they are. If you want a cheap mag that will work but not be 100% efficient.
Shit, I went with it because it's the only one that I could find on the internet if in Canada.
So I think what Chris, you and I were talking about this a while back, and I think your problem with the feeding, now that we opened up those ramps just a little bit more, polished them, either you don't have enough front support in that mag, or your lips in the back are keeping that thing too tight, where it's not allowing that cartridge to pivot just a little bit. Up. It's keeping it stuffed down like this and pushing it straight ahead, rather than letting it come up somehow. Well, you've got to have a look at those lips.
And that's the thing. Excuse me.
Do you have a Magpul 5-round?
I have a skill.
Do you have a 5-round Magpul?
I have Magpul 5.56 magazines.
So the magazine's the same. The only thing that's different is the follower.
Yeah.
They're the box mags, like what is in my Grendels back there. If it's a box mag like that, it is the exact same magazine as what a 5.56. Exact same magazine.
The only problem, Mike, is we don't want Duramags. That's what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
We want the Alexander Arms mags.
He might have been just a hair late typing that in. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay.
And MC comes on again and says Alexander Arms has less capacity, which tells me it has a stronger internal spring. That, I think, is some sound logic.
Well, let's also not forget that the Duramags that I have are essentially a 10-round magazine that has got some sort of stopper in it somewhere that is limiting the capacity to 5 rounds. Maybe that's fucking it over too.
It's a
You can
possibility,
take
but
that out, right?
it's a weak one, I think.
I know I can take that out, but I don't want to go to jail.
We would never think of such a thing.
Yeah.
After the show, I'll show you how to take it out if you need to.
I don't.
Oh no,
need to
that's
be, I don't,
no
I don't
problem
need
at all.
to be shown, but I'm not doing it.
Right. We
by
have
the
a,
way-
I'm just
a
fucking with you.
journalist in Canada that showed
Cheers,
everybody
RCMP.
how to do that.
Cheers, RCMP.
Yeah.
He's from Kentucky. He knows not what he says.
I don't know anything about Canadian laws. I'm American. We have a Second Amendment right.
If I do modify that magazine, I'm looking at a minimum 5 years.
So here's something that I don't know about Canadian law, and this is what kind of
Does
confuses
it
me.
make sense?
In the United, no, it doesn't. This is what our buddy that works at who's the big rifle manufacturer there? Wolf. What is it?
Nope.
Wolf tits, wolf.
No.
All right.
Oh, he ran the rifle parts.
Is this a
You had him
Canadian
on, then I had him on.
manufacturer?
Yes, Timberwolf. The Timberwolf
Well,
rifle.
that's Prairie Gun Works.
PGW.
That's PGW. Yeah.
Okay, our buddy that ran his own machine shop that had the brass rifle weights. I had him on, and then you guys had him on.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Fuck, what was the name of his company?
I'm bad at names. I'm sorry.
He was on my show, then he was on y'all's show.
I think I know who you're talking about. What's the point? Marginet. It was Marginet Metalworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the show, we were talking, and so in America, if you're doing any type of THC or anything like that, you can't own a firearm, quote unquote, legally. How is that different in Canada? Is it because it's legal in Canada? Is that why?
Well, drugs have never been a part of our licensing system.
See, in America, it is.
Yeah,
Which is weird.
Nobody gets drug tested for their license. If you have
Well,
a
they don't drug test you.
conviction, if you have a drug conviction, that can prevent you from getting a license. It can also lead to having it taken away.
No, but
there's no such thing as a marijuana conviction in Canada because it's legal.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
That was my whole question that I was asking.
But before that happened, if you had a drug conviction for pot, not like levels of THC in your system, it had nothing to do with use. But if you had a criminal conviction for drug possession or trafficking or whatever, then you could have your license taken away, suspended, not approved, et cetera, et cetera.
See, that's what's weird about there in the United States. So you guys don't fill out a 4473 like we do, right?
I don't even know what a 4473 is. So
it's our extortion. No. It's our extortion that we have to fill out to receive a firearm from a FFL. It's the permission slip to run your background check and make sure you're not a fugitive from another state, a felon.
No, once we get our license, here, and I'm not an expert at this part, but as far as I understand it, once we get our license, we have what's called continuous eligibility screening. And the major part of our continuous eligibility screening is that we get a criminal record check automatically done by computer every day. And because of all of that, we don't go through as much when we go to buy a gun as you do. We show our license, they verify our license. Well, the way it used to be, we show our license, they give us the gun, and we leave if it was non-restricted. The way it is now, we show them our license, they call into the Canadian Firearms Center, they get a transfer permit, and which is like, all they really do is verify, yep, they actually do have one. And then again, we walk out with the gun. And if I get a transfer permit at, say, Cabela's, it's a big box everybody knows, and I buy a non-restricted gun from Cabela's, I can go back next week and just buy the gun and walk out, because the transfer permit is good for a period of time. I think it's a couple of months or something like that.
Can you only buy one firearm with that transfer permit, or can you buy multiple?
No, as far as I understand it, the transfer permit is in relation to verifying this guy can legally sell the gun, this guy can legally buy the gun, and it connects the two of us for a period of time, and I can buy as many guns off you during that period of time as I want.
Oh, see, so that's what's weird about there in the United States. So with me being in Kentucky, my rules are totally different than somebody in, like, where Yukikaze is in New Jersey. It's totally different for me than it is for him.
That's another major difference between Canada and the US. In the United States, by and large, firearms laws and regulations are decided by the state. In Canada, it was determined that firearms laws are determined by the federal government.
Which in turn is the king or queen, right?
Because it's sort of, but not really. But they determined that because our firearms legislation is essentially criminal code legislation, which is federal jurisdiction.
Which is where the Canadian Royal Police come in. Yes?
Right, because they're our national police force. They're our federal police force, yeah. Well, some of our provinces' federal police force.
Okay. So, like here in Kentucky, with me having a concealed weapons permit, I know you guys don't have that anymore, right?
Never did.
The answer to MC is yes, by the way. I'm not reading out the question out loud because, but the answer is yes. Sorry, what was the question, Bending?
Can you guys have concealed carry permits?
Negative. We can get concealed carry permits under extremely strict provisions that are so strict on paper and even more strict in practice, to the point that there's no point in even applying for it. You're not going to get one.
So what about, so Kentucky is a shell issue state, which means as long as I have nothing on my criminal background, and that includes domestic violence, which is a federal, you can't own a gun if you have domestic violence in the United States.
Yeah.
Drug charges in the state of Kentucky will prohibit it. So many DUIs in a 5-year period will prohibit it in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
MC is correct. Our provisions are essentially so strict that only bodyguards for government officials are getting concealed carry permits. Or probably politicians themselves.
Sounds like you need to go become a bodyguard for a politician.
No.
I like that long pause of no. Okay, so like in Kentucky, with me having my concealed carry permit, the Kentucky State Police run my background check every 28 days on a continuous cycle.
Yeah, okay. Ours is done every day.
So for me to go by,
will be done in approximately 2 hours from now.
Okay, so like I can go into a gun shop, fill out my 4473, my permission slip from the government to make sure I'm not a domestic abuser, drug addict, illegal alien, fugitive from another state, so on and so forth. And I hand them my concealed carry and I leave after I've paid for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a NICS check. I don't have to have any of that shit because the state police does that every month. Is that similar to y'all's?
In Canada, again, it's a little bit different because of our classifications. If it's a non-restricted firearm, then yes, we walk in, we buy it, we leave, essentially. If it's a restricted firearm, it has to be registered before we take it home. So there's a little bit of additional paperwork for that.
So now if you buy, so in the United States, sequential serial numbers, especially in pistols, or multiple purchases in a pistol results in possible a visit from the ATF. Is that like that?
I'm sure that there is. I don't know if there's official legislation for that. In fact, there probably isn't. But I'm sure that in practice, I'm sure that happens.
The reason why I asked that is so on Black Friday, I bought 3 firearms on Black Friday at the same time.
Yeah.
Of sequential serial numbers. The three that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
They're all sequential serial numbers. My local ATF agent called. Granted, they know that I do YouTube, and they know that
So he called you up and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? Not planning on shooting things, are you?"
pretty
And then,
much.
yeah, I'm not
I wanted
aware.
to make sure I was buying them for myself, not.
Yeah, I don't know personally, and I've never heard of anyone personally that's happened to, but I'm sure it's happened.
Mhm.
Like I said, I just didn't know if Canada was that way. Like if the Royal Canadian Police would show up and be like, "Hey, why'd you buy 3 firearms at the same time, even though they're non-restrictive or restrictive?"
Well, if it's non-restrictive, they have no idea how many I bought
But if it's restrictive, they would. Yeah.
because I have to register each individual one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like
Although
our tax stamp here.
that's kind of a moot point now, because the restricted category of firearms is essentially empty now, because they've done away with handguns. So they still fit into the restricted category, but you're not allowed to buy them or sell them or transfer them. So nobody is doing that because it's essentially banned. And the only other things that were sitting in the restricted category were things like the AR-15, which they also banned 3 years ago. So the only things that fit into restricted category now are things like semi-automatic rifles that would be non-restricted, but they have a barrel length less than 18.5 inches. Who buys
So you're
guns?
barrel length restricted on that.
For semi-automatics, we're barrel length restricted. Between non-restricted and restricted, the cutoff is 18.5 inches.
Okay. So I guess what would fall under our restrictive is for a rifle, it has to be 14 and a half, pinned and welded, measured to 16 inches.
Yeah.
Anything less than that with a buttstock becomes a SBR, which is, I guess, more or less would become restricted, where we have to pay an extortion tax.
Yeah, now we don't pay an extortion tax. We just have to register it so that when the government decides they want to take it away, they know exactly where it is.
Well, we have to pay an extortion tax and fucking register.
Yeah, so I mean, you're just like you're DP'd.
Yeah, deep, hard.
Yeah,
Like suppressors are the same way.
yeah.
And I'm not comparing assholes to elbows to see who's got it worse.
I'm just putting this up to help save MC a visit from the law enforcement agencies. He was talking about handing out guns without serial numbers like candy or like peanuts. So he wants everyone to know that was satire.
So can you guys?
Mike said that manual action is, well, that's not true though, Mike. Manual action is not. Oh yeah, manual action is limited to 26-inch overall length. That's right.
Overall,
yeah. So if it's under 26-inch overall length, then it's also restricted.
So,
but no, that's
what are
not
you
true,
calling?
Because a mare's leg is under 26-inch and it's non-restricted.
So what's considered non or manual action there, like pump action shotgun, bolt action rifle?
Yeah, I think what Mike is talking about would be like, lever, bolt, pump, brake.
So something that you have to break the chain of fire to reload.
Yes.
More or less. Okay.
More or less. Well, more or less, yeah. Well, because you don't really need to do that with a pump, but yeah.
Yeah. You have to make another action to load
it just means you have to.
It's not a self-feeding rifle.
Yeah, you have to cycle it manually.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, so we were only going to do an hour-long show tonight, and it's been an hour and 18 minutes. But
allegedly,
yeah. Before we are done, I did want to talk about this Ukrainian claimed world record shot at 3.8 kilometers. You guys are aware of this?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about it.
To my understanding, it still has yet to be officially verified. I don't know if there's video that exists for it or not. Do you guys know about that?
This is the first. You talking about it earlier was the first time I've heard about it.
It was? Okay. So, to
don't
my
have
knowledge,
news
it still has not been independently verified. I'm unaware whether there's video to verify it or not. And they did it with as far as I understand, they did it with a single shot bolt action. What would the word be? Magazineless. Like it doesn't even have a magazine. It's
Single shot.
load. Yeah, it's single shot. With what they're calling 12.7 by 114, which is a 14.5 millimeter case necked down to essentially 50 caliber to fire a 50 BMG bullet. And they're shooting a 996 grain bullet at over 3,200 feet per second with this thing. So if this gets verified, this will beat the current standing Canadian record by about 400 meters per second. Oh, it is
Okay,
a Russian.
you said it's
That would make sense. Mike's correcting me. It's the Russian 50 BMG. So it is the 12.7 bullet, not the actual 50 BMG. Yeah.
and they necked it down to 17.
No, they're taking the 14.5 and necking it down to 12.7 or 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
all
What do
fucking
you got in
confused
that little hoot can there?
now.
popcorn
Oh, that's
lung?
socket.
He's got
Night-
popcorn lung in it.
No, in the United States, they did away with diacetyl in your vape juice, so you don't get popcorn lung.
That
Oh, this.
damn diacetyl.
That's bullshit. You don't get popcorn lung.
But
Bending. We'll wait. You run around the block and then come back.
no, I was gonna build 2 ARs while we were online tonight, but then I was like, that's not fair to Chris and Rooster.
Well, it's not, but so okay, back to this Ukrainian thing. Derek seems to verify here that there is a video. He said he's seen the video, and he says time from shot to time to impact seems legit distance calculation wise. So hey, maybe this thing is going to break the like. I remember. So there was the Silver Core podcast.
Yeah,
He had what the hell is his name now? He was a JTF2 member.
I don't know what that is.
Dallas Alexander.
No, it wasn't Alexander. It was Jeff. I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, yep. I know. French name.
Yes, it starts with a D, I think.
Possibly.
Jeff Depatie. Jeff Depatie. I was listening to him
Jeff
on the
Deputy?
Silver Core. I was listening to him on the Silver Core podcast, and on that podcast, which is only like a month or two old, he was saying that he predicts that the Canadian record will stand for a very long time if it ever does get broken. And now here, just a couple of months later, it appears as though this Ukrainian soldier's broken it.
It appears that way.
Do you think that's all proxy though? This is a serious question.
What do you mean proxy?
You think it could?
What do you mean proxy?
Like bullshit. Like them actually doing that.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, there's been a lot of falsities reported, both on the Russian and on the Ukrainian side in this war. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not. But that's why I'm saying, like, if this gets independently verified, because it won't. I don't think it'll stand as an official record unless it is independently verified.
Okay, and you said 3.4 kilometers.
Well, that's the current record, 3.4 some. It's like just under 3.5 kilometers. And this one is approximately 3.8 kilometers.
That's what comparable to 5 miles US?
No, less than that.
No, 2 miles
right.
is 3,320 meters.
Yeah, so it's like just over 2 miles.
Yeah.
So it is exactly 2.36 miles.
There you go.
Okay. So 2.5 miles.
It's a long fucking shot.
It is. It is. How much dope do you think he had to use?
Well, here's the thing. I saw a quick
As
video.
much as you are right now.
Yeah.
I don't do dope.
Ooh,
I'm just-
zinger.
I get up for work every day at 3:30 in the morning. Thank you. So
Attaboy.
it's a little bit
Attaboy.
past my bedtime.
You wouldn't be the only one to get up at 3:30 and take a toke. But anyway, the question.
Come on now.
I watched a video reporting about this, and it's what the hell's that British guy that does those historical weapons on YouTube? Skinny, thick, thin
Military
guy.
Arms Channel.
No. He's not in America, but he's like thin guy, dark hair,
CMC.
total nerd. Anyway, they were interviewing him on it, and I don't know if they were showing stock footage or not, but they were showing a March Genesis scope.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if that was meant to insinuate. No, not bloke on the range. The guy doesn't do range stuff. He works for a museum in somewhere in Europe, but it's all just museum pieces. Anyway, I don't know if that was meant to insinuate that they were using a March Genesis scope, or if they were just because they were talking about prisms being used on the scope, and then while they were talking about that, they were showing a March Genesis. So I don't know if that's meant what that's meant to insinuate, but hey, who knows? Maybe he was using a March Genesis.
Could be.
I mean, that's
Ooh,
still
that's
a
hell of
long
lot of
shot.
elevation to get out to that distance.
Well, yeah, bright on both counts from both of you.
I mean, what's your dope on 2 mile, Rooster?
Oh God, I think it's like 65 mils. I think.
So, are they using mils or MOA over in?
No,
They'll
Ukraine?
probably use they'll use mills. I'm sure they will.
So you're
all the
talking
cool kids
70,
do.
75, 80 mils.
Fuck, I don't even know. I think you're asking completely the wrong guy.
At least 75 to get
Yeah.
out that far.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, that parabolic curve when you get out there, like it just compounds. So
Yeah.
my 65 or whatever at 2 miles, add another 300 meters or 400 meters on top of that, and it's going to be considerably more. So for me, okay, at 3,300 meters, I didn't bother punching in 3,320 to get 2 miles exactly, but it's 69.3 mils, and that's a 300 grain bullet starting out at 3,165 feet per second.
3165. Okay.
I wonder how fast they were starting out though. Over there.
Well, that's
Well, Chris was saying over 3,200.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that means that's what these guys were using, like it's so hard to tell what is accurate information in these days and what is just bullshit and speculation.
What
Well,
were they saying that
what I-
shot distance was again? Sorry to interrupt, but
3.8 kilometers.
all right. So for the old 33XC, that would be 98
mils. That's crazy, hey? Well, and now it'd probably be even more than that because this is a 996 grain 50 caliber bullet.
Yeah.
And not and
well,
if its muzzle velocity is 3,200 feet per second, it's not starting out that much faster than your XC.
No, but that big long bullet, I'm assuming it's a very long bullet. Your ballistic coefficient will almost definitely be over 1.0.
Fair point.
So
yeah.
your ballistic coefficient will be higher. So who knows what that actual trajectory would look like? But I would considerably better than the 33XC.
Yeah. So the YouTube guy I was thinking of is Jonathan Ferguson. He is the keeper of the Royal Armories Museum. And I'm going to get you his YouTube channel because people were kind of speculating about it in the chat. So I'll just get it for everybody, make it easy. Jonathan Ferg Uson. The channel is called Royal Armories Derp.
Who's the guy? He's a Canadian guy. Fuck, what's his name? He's a guy that I'm watching.
Talk amongst yourselves, but for comparison, Derek chimed in here while you're thinking Bending. He says he rewatched the clip. Time of flight by his informational calculation was approximately 9 seconds. And like when I punched in 3,800 meters with the 33XC, time of flight for that shot would be 10.5 seconds.
So it's close.
It's close. You know what? I could see 9 seconds, honestly. The bullet is 3 times the weight that I'm shooting. Ballistic coefficient is considerably higher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? That seems very possibly legit.
Well, you know what's interesting? What would be really interesting is if we find
Could
out.
Derek post that link?
Yeah, go ahead and post the link, Derek. What would be really interesting is if we ended up finding out that this, like, the actual distance was like 3,300 meters.
Oh yeah. You never know.
Like that could happen very easily, right?
People don't embellish much, do they?
Well, but think about it.
Like
if you're on the war front and you're trying to run propaganda to bolster your troops, I mean that's a hell of a thing, you know.
Right. Put
just
it,
like
put
it
it
was
in
a
their
hell
minds that we're not safe anywhere.
Well, and also just like it was a hell of a thing when the Canadians did it in Afghanistan, you know.
Can you pull that up?
No, because you can't click on these links, but yeah, we'll have to do it offline. It's okay. It's from a Telegram channel, but yeah. Anyway, I think the whole thing's interesting. We'll have to watch it and see what ends up happening with it. But
I don't know what Telegram.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I mean, just write down the link. It's a pretty short link. You'll be able to find it. But
okay.
Anyway, how about this? If you guys are still watching the show, make sure you give us a like, a thumbs up, or a heart, or whatever else. Oh, sorry. Oh, popcorn lung. Oh no. Bending. Give everybody a plug. Tell everybody where they can find you.
On Instagram under Bending Ballistics. I've got a YouTube channel that I don't do anything on.
Well, that was short and sweet.
I mean, I do. Like, I don't mean to sound. Okay, so I am starting back my YouTube channel in February.
Okay.
That is just something that I'm gonna do because I'm gonna shoot next year, and compete again. I took a year off because I just got burned out.
Popcorn lung.
But that too. They took the diacetyl out of the vape juice and it really just messed up my game.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get back into competing next year. I've talked to some people about that, and I'm gonna get back into competing again next year. I enjoyed it. So get back into competing.
Rock is worried you're going to give out your personal number, so don't do that.
My No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, good.
I don't know who Rock is. Who's Rock?
I don't know.
Just his grinder handle.
You don't know Rock?
No. Do you know Rock?
Everybody knows Rock.
Rock Bill? Everybody knows Rock.
Oh no, that's Rachel.
Rachel.
It's
duh. Well, she'll forevermore be known as Rock now.
Well, I never.
Rach the Rock.
Rach Rock.
Good one, Chris.
Fuck's sakes.
How to win friends and influence people.
Do you know how many people named Rachel I have known in my lifetime?
I don't know. How many?
Maybe one. Do you know how many?
Well, now you know two.
Do you know how many of them I called Rach?
One.
Maybe none.
0.
0. I just assumed it was some like South African dude or something.
No. Oh, I did talk to Pete the other day. You want to talk about something that he's good. You want to know something that's really fucked up? I was talking to Pete, and I guess I never really understood what the RAND was. And he was talking about how he was going to order a rifle from the United States, and he was like, it's like 70,000 RAND. I was like, what? It's like $600. here. He's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's 70,000 rand. And it fucked me up really bad.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's like it's no different than pesos or
Yeah.
Thai
I
baht.
mean,
I won't tell this story right now. Maybe I'll tell this story on another episode. But I almost bought a middle-aged Thai woman for 2 million baht.
is it the one that gave you the parasites?
No, and that I'm not actually lying. That is a legitimate story. I
You
was
walked away
offered.
because she didn't come with a carry handle.
Well, I
What?
walked away because as soon as I bring her back to Canada, human trafficking is illegal. But but I was actually so I was at I went there to do Muay Thai, and what we would do is we would go there, we would train in the morning, and then our calves would be fucked. And so what me and a couple of the other guys would do is we would go to one of the very few legit massage places near where we were training, and we would get our calves and our feet worked on because there was an evening training class as well. I said I wasn't going to tell this story, but here I am. Yeah, Kurt's just going to air quotes the whole story. Anyway, so
the calves.
the calves.
Allegedly.
So, allegedly, yeah, this is all alleged. So, the way that it works, there's always like a big like mama that like she kind of runs the place, and essentially she like owns these people, right? So we're all like we're sitting in these three chairs adjacent to each other, and we're each getting. Hang on, well, time out for popcorn. We're each getting our calves worked on, and she's basically asking if like how's the pressure basically, and I tell her something to the effect of I basically say something to the effect of like, yeah, the pressure's good, I should bring you back to Canada and get one of these all day, because they cost like $2 for a massage. Like it's not like it's not quite that little, but like it's not really expensive. So I made some sort of comment like that, and the mama pops up from like across the room, and all of a sudden she starts speaking in Thai to the massage lady, and I can't call them massage therapists, but because I'm whatever. So they're talking back and forth, and they're giggling at each other and talking, and then the mama turns to me and she goes, "You want to take her home? 2 million baht?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, what?" And she goes, "Yeah, 2 million baht. She go home with you tomorrow." And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. So I pulled out my phone and I calculated how many Canadian dollars 2 million baht was. And it was approximately $40,000. So I'm quite confident that I could have bought a Thai human being for about $40,000.
Good Lord. Unreal, hey?
Missed opportunity.
Have you've been to
Yes,
Vegas,
meal.
right?
I've been to what?
You've been to Vegas, right?
A couple times, yeah.
Mike Hynek.
Rubbing a bug. So,
okay, what about Vegas?
have you seen like the brothels that they have there?
That's a negative. Is this an entrapment attempt?
No.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? The
I'm
brothels
aware that they
have.
exist. I've never been to one.
Okay, so a
I've
buddy
been
of mine.
too old and too married every time I go there.
This is so you have to understand. This was years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Vegas in probably 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, last month.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we were at Vegas and we were fucking with a buddy of mine that we were there with, just
At the brothel?
bugging the shit out of him. No, we were going to send him to a brothel, and
you're going to send your buddy to a brothel.
Yeah, we were going to fuck with him and send him to a brothel. He didn't think that they existed. Well,
Careful using that
literally
term when you're talking about brothels, but carry on.
Literally, they're ran by transvestites, and so the big whatever manager of the brothel comes up to him and is like, "Hey, big boy, you gonna come with us tonight?" Yeah, comes up and is like, "You're gonna come with us tonight, big boy." fucked him up.
That isn't really what he sounded like.
No, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, they're ran by transvestites. Just so you know.
Well,
Yeah.
just
Yes.
so I know, because I'm in great danger of being caught. If I
You gotta
ever
go
want,
to a brothel and get cockholded.
if I ever want to run for parliament, then I better stay away from those.
Are you gonna run for parliament?
That's good policy.
Yeah, the all signs point to no. The odds of getting elected as an independent in this country is extremely slim, and I
What's the same in the United States?
I will not join a political party.
I mean, it's the same in the United States. You
So
never see a.
I'm just putting this out there. Since we started talking about this sort of stuff, we lost like over a third of our audience.
Talking about brothels?
Yeah, it's, you know what, we're at an hour and 40. We're 40 minutes past the way this was supposed to be, so I'm gonna call it here. If anybody wants to, you can find us on our website at bspodcast.ca. You can find us on facebook.com/BS podcast. You can find us on YouTube at BS_podcast. And as always, we'd like to give a big thank you to all of our sponsors and all of our viewers. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show in the first place. We are talking about Shane and Steve. We're talking about Miles, Carrie and Cappy, Duncan and Rob, Phil Odell, Doug and Nisa, Vanya and Carly, Oscar with Ribstone, and J.R. Cox from the Shooting Edge. Thank you guys all an immeasurable amount. Quick teaser. In the next couple of weeks, possibly as early as next week, but in the next couple of weeks at least, Kurt and I are going to have a tremendous announcement, which we are extremely excited about, and hopefully
Are you moving to America
too. I wish that was it. I wish I had two exciting announcements, but I only have one exciting announcement. Possibly
what would it take you guys? If you guys wanted to come to America, what would have to, so I understand our.
No, my wife would have to agree. That's the only criteria.
No, I know, but like I understand that we have ways that you have to go about coming to the United. Yeah, do you guys have to be sponsored by an American to come?
I wouldn't have to.
Because you have dual citizenship.
No, what I do have is the ability to set myself up to apply for a visa with special consideration. And I also have a credit record existing in America, which will make it easier.
You have a what record?
Credit rating.
Oh, I thought you said criminal record. I was like, what?
No. I have an American bank account and credit card.
He has an Affleck.
Oh, so you're extorting money into the United States. Got it.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, every time you pay credit card fees, it doesn't matter if it's a Canadian card or American card. The money's going to America. Let's be honest.
So, did y'all? This is completely off subject, but kind of on subject to what I was asking. Does your credit rating in America affect your credit rating in Canada?
So when I applied for my credit card to establish my credit rating, they used I had to pay a third party company to essentially take my Canadian TransUnion credit rating in Canada and convert it to an equivalent score in the US, and then vouch for that score in order to get the credit card. But now that I have the credit card, I'm just establishing my own credit rating.
So if you filed bankruptcy in Canada, would it affect your bankruptcy, and would that affect your American? No.
Not as far as I know.
And vice versa?
Not as far as I know. There may be
Can
some.
You file bankruptcy in Canada?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, there may be some provision there that I'm unaware of, but at this present time, I'm unaware of it, so I'll say no. But I mean, I have no intention of ever declaring bankruptcy. I'm not in danger of declaring bankruptcy, so. Like,
no. I get that.
I'm not Poe. I am kind of Poe.
I get that.
But yeah.
You're rich.
I'm not over leveraged, put it that way.
You don't live outside your means.
Well, with the gun stuff I've done in the last 3 years, I was getting pretty close. But no.
Well,
Anyway,
you see where I'm sitting.
yeah, well,
So I have nothing to talk about.
you're sitting in a nice gun safe. You're well above your means. Look at that track lighting. That must have cost a whole $5.
That track lighting costs $70 a side. Thank you very much.
What? $70?
Yeah, because look, watch this. I've got fucking remotes.
I got some beachfront property in Florida for you.
My shit changes color. Get on my fucking level
Why did you not turn that on at the beginning of the show?
because I forgot.
Well, I'm not really upset that I only just reminded you now, but that is $500 Canadian, by the way.
Is it really?
No, not really. Anyway, Bending, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for talking Grendel and all the other ridiculousness that we talked about tonight. We're back to
If we
our
can't get
regular
off tangent,
format
what are
on-
we doing?
Well, exactly. We went pretty far off the rails. It's a good thing it was a Saturday. Kurt, are you gonna talk us out and I'll hit the button?
Am I going to talk us out? Are we done
You've
talking
barely-
us out?
You barely talked all night, so
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now in life. I spend most of my days lately being grumpy at people and cracking a whip, and yeah, I'm spent by the end of it. So.
Well, come to America too. Both of you come.
we are in January.
No, move here.
Okay.
Move to Kentucky.
Thanks everybody for
It doesn't
showing up.
snow here.
I would not be moving to Kentucky. I like the snow. Sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
See you later, you sons of guns.
But some of these bullets, as you saw, have an incendiary device on the tip of it, which is a heat-seeking device.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome to your weekly dose of BS, the Ballistically Speaking podcast.